Can I just say this out loud? Advent is beautiful, yes, but it's also hard. And if you're already walking tired into December, I want you to know I feel that too. And that's why I created this Advent series. Light in the Low Places, a weary parent's guide to wonder. This is episode 1 when the season feels heavy. Hi friends, I'm Julianne Luce and I'm so grateful you're here with me today. You know, Advent comes with all these expectations of how we're supposed to feel. We're supposed to feel peaceful and present in the moment and full of wonder. And yet so many of us step into this month carrying a mix that we didn't ask for. A mix of responsibility and maybe even some disappointment. Some of us are carrying grief. And definitely, a lot of us are carrying exhaustion. And exhaustion doesn't listen to the holidays very well. I know that feeling in my own bones, and I don't want to pretend my way past it. And I don't want you to have to either, friend. That's why we're doing this Advent series. Every week, all month long, as a place to land, a place to breathe, a place where your soul can feel hugged. And also reminded that God draws close to the honest places we live from. It's crazy how December unfolds and we're just supposed to miraculously feel lighter, but life doesn't suddenly lighten up. Sometimes it gets even busier. The load we carry comes with us, and it holds like a quiet weight in our chest and a soft spinning in our brains. The ache we don't always have words for. And it can feel strange, can it? To hold both the beauty of the season and the heaviness that's still here. This is why I wanted to create this series, because this is where Advent always has done its best work. The first Christmas didn't begin with people who felt rested or ready. It began with people in the thick of their actual lives. People stretched thin, people completely unsure. And people trying to make sense of what God was doing right in the middle of their mess. So, if you're walking into this season with more weariness than wonder, hear me. You're not doing it wrong, and you haven't made a mistake. You're exactly where Christmas loves to arrive, in the real world, in the real feelings, offering a hope that is sturdy enough to lean your whole weight on. And maybe this is the part we forgot. The Advent isn't asking you to push through or pretend. It's inviting you to notice. And Advent is also a season of honesty, a season of waiting, yes, but not passive waiting. It's the kind of waiting where we open our hands and say, Lord, this is where I really am. Can you come meet me here? And friend, if you've lost some of that childlike wonder over the years, you're not alone. You're human. And you're growing. And you're carrying more than your younger self ever imagined you would. And maybe the gift of this season is remembering that Emmanuel doesn't mean God with the peaceful and prepared. It means God with us, all of us, the whole of us. So, in the weeks ahead, as we walk through this Advent series together, we're going to slow down enough to look for Him in the real moments, not the curated ones. In the quiet ones, in the imperfect ones, in the ones that don't look like a Christmas card but matter far more. Because if Advent teaches us anything, it's this. You don't have to feel ready for God to come near. He comes anyway. So let's talk about the reason we feel this way. There's totally a reason the holiday season feels heavier for so many people. It's not just nostalgia or the pressure to create moments. It's actually built into the structure of our culture and into the way our bodies respond to the nonstop stimulation. We live in a world that treats December like a performance. Everywhere we turn, we're told, create magic, give more, be more present, say yes, make everything beautiful. The message is constant and it's relentless, even when we know it's unrealistic. Our nervous system seems to absorb it anyway. The expectations rise and our sense of enoughness starts to falter. And there's real science behind this. When the brain is flooded with comparison and noise and decisions and pressure, the amygdala becomes more reactive. This heightens alertness and drains our emotional bandwidth. We literally lose access to calm and reflective thought. Our system narrows into self-protection mode. We start to feel irritable and anxious and numb and depleted. Do you feel any of those things? Friend, none of that has anything to do with lack of faith or lack of holiday spirit. It's simply biology responding to overload. Understanding this is so freeing. You're not feeling Christmas. Your body is just asking for some gentleness. And here's the hopeful part. When we name what's happening, we also regain agency. We can choose where to place our attention. We can loosen the grip of this cultural pressure. So I'm curious, friend, if wonder feels out of reach this season. When the holidays stir up longing, it's often because something in us remembers what joy used to feel like. The ache, it's actually an invitation. You don't have to pretend you're lighter than you are. You don't have to force wonder this year. You only need enough openness to let God meet you in the truth of your own heart. Even a moment of noticing can shift something inside us. A softening can happen, a loosening, a quiet breath that you didn't realize you were holding. And maybe that's where scripture becomes a gentle companion, because long before the manger, there were people who waited in shadows too. People who carried their own heaviness. People who carried a lot of questions and hopes that felt so slow to arrive. Into that world, Isaiah spoke words that would have sounded like a warm light flickering in the dark. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. On those living in the land of deep shadow, a light has dawned. For unto us a child is born, and he shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. These weren't just predictions, they were reminders that God has always moved toward his people, even when they couldn't see the path ahead. Reminders that a king was coming, a king who would steady the weary and lift the heads of those bowed low. So before we move into this week's blessing, let these ancient words settle gently into your soul. Let them be like a hand on your back. A whisper of reassurance for places that feel thin. Because the same God who spoke hope into Isaiah's day is speaking it into yours. So here's a blessing for your heart in this first week. May the pressure you feel ease its hold, even a little. May the noise around you soften so you can hear your own soul again. May the light of Christ reach the places that feel hidden or tired. And may you sense the quiet reassurance that God draws near to weary people first. As you move into this week, friend, pay attention to your own pace. Let your spirit stretch only as far as it comfortably can. There's no race here. There doesn't need to be urgency. Only a slow unfolding of grace that has been chasing you since the beginning. In episode 2, we'll begin opening our eyes to the subtle ways God is already near you. I'll meet you there.